We are continuing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, 3rd Canto, Chapter 12. Now it is about creation of Kumaras and others. So we heard that Brahma became attracted to his daughter and thus finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. O father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpas, nor will anyone dare to attempt it in the future. You are the supreme being in the universe, so how is it that you want to have sex with your daughter and cannot control your desire? Even though you are the most powerful being, this act does not suit you because your character is followed for spiritual improvement by people in general. It does not suit you, this. Tasmai namo bhagavate ya idam svena ruchisha atmastam vyanjayam asa sadharmam patum arhati. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who, by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears herein that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination in spite of the appeal by the great sons like Marichi. Therefore, the great sons began to pray to the Supreme Lord for the good sense of Brahma. It is only by the grace of the Supreme Lord that one can be protected from the allurement of lusty material desires. The Lord gives protection to devotees who are always engaged in His transcendental loving service, and by His causeless mercy He forgives the accidental fall of a devotee. Therefore, sages like Marichi prayed for the mercy of the Lord, and their prayer was fruitful. This is also, sometimes we may try to give good advice, but it will not work, so then we have to pray to Supreme Lord to help that person. Sa itam grinatah putran puro drishtva prajapatin prajapati patistanvam tatyaja vriditastada tam disho jagrihur ghoram niharam yadvidus tamaha. The father of all Prajapatis, means progenitors, Brahma, thus seeing all his Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later that body appeared in all directions as the dangerous fog in darkness. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, the best way to compensate for one's sinful acts is to give up one's body at once. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by his personal example. Brahma has a fabulous duration of life, but he was obliged to give up his body due to his grievous sin, even though he had merely contemplated it in his mind without having actually done it. This is a lesson for the living entities, showing how sinful an act it is to indulge in unrestricted sex life. Even to think of abominable sex life is sinful, and to compensate for such sinful acts, one has to give up his body. In other words, one's duration of life, blessings, opulence, etc. are decreased by sinful acts, And the most dangerous type of sinful act is unrestricted sex. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, or sinful life is the cause of gross ignorance. The feature of ignorance is darkness or fog. Darkness or fog still covers the whole universe, and the sun is the only counteracting principle. One who takes shelter of the Lord, the perpetual light, has no fear of being annihilated in the darkness of fog or ignorance. This is one kind of atonement for sinful activities, but it is not always applicable, especially now in Kali Yuga. There was one in Gaur Lila, one Subudhi Rai. He was a good king, but he once beat one Muslim who was working under him, but it was for his own good, for punishment. But then, when karma changed, as it always does in this world, then he lost his position, Subudhi Rai, and that Muslim became king. So then wife of that Muslim told him, you should take revenge now. And that Muslim said, no, I don't want. Actually, he wanted my good, so no. But woman nature is like this. They will always push. So she was pushing then to kill him. That was her desire. Like how he could harm my husband and it should take revenge and like this. So this Muslim then told, I will not kill him, but I can convert him to a Muslim that will oust him from being in a Hindu society that is like that. So he gave him forced him to drink some water that was used by Muslims. So in that way he was converted, and Hindu society, they did not want to associate with him. That is in like strict smarta system, they're like that. For Vaishnavas, that is different case. So then this Subudhi Rai understood it is by my sinful activities I got this. So then he went to Brahmins and asked how he can atone for such condition now that he became a Muslim, like degraded. Then they told him, you have to give up your body. There is no other way. And there are certain means given in Shastra, like you have to drink hot ghee. In that way you will die, means give a body, and or with some fire, some means they gave. But he was not satisfied with any of this. Then by some chance, or means by the will of Supreme Lord, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was attracted by his personality, and he surrendered to him and told him all the situation. Then he asked Mahaprabhu how I can be rescued from these sinful reactions. Then Mahaprabhu said, in Kali Yuga, you have to chant Harinam. That is the best way of atonement for purification. Even by one nama abhas, one glimpse of holy name, you can be rescued from sinful, means consequences to your sins of millions of lives. And you can get liberation. And by chanting pure name, you can get love of Krishna. So you go on chanting. In that way you will be rescued. No need to do those. They are not for now, for Kali Yuga. So he did, and he was continuously chanting under the guidance of Mahaprabhu and got Krishna Prem and became a great devotee and went to live in Vrindavan, and there he used to collect wood from the forest and sell in the Mathura and their Vrindavan for cooking or for yagya or like this. So he got some money. In that money he maintained himself, and also he was serving the Vaishnavas and chanting. Perfect life. Simple earning of money, serving Vaishnavas and chanting Harinam. Became pure devotee. And that example is there in 6th canto, Bhagavatam, about a Jamil, fully sinful. He was with prostitute, got 10 sons. But he was never criticizing Supreme Lord or any of his devotees. He was only very much sinful. So at the time of death, he, by previous good impressions, he gave his last son, the youngest one, named Narayan. He was always calling him, Narayan, come here, Narayan, you eat with me, like this. So always chanting. So at the time of death, when messengers of God of death came, out of fear and out of attachment for that son, he called Narayan, Narayan. And that Narayan name, although not intending Narayan in Vaikuntha, but his son, but still it went to Narayan because he had no any offense. So by that glimpse of holy name, he was rescued from all sinful activities, got liberation. And then he went to Haridwar and performed bhajan favorably to satisfy Krishna and got prem, and he was taken to Vaikuntha. But the point is, we have to do atonement. So atonement in Kali Yuga means Harinam Sankirtan, our Gurudev told, the cause of sin is desire to commit sin. Desire to commit sin is caused by misconception of self. When we misidentify with matter, we have material desires. The cause of misconception of self is ignorance. The cause of ignorance is aversion to knowledge, absolute knowledge, that is Supreme Lord. So the root cause of sins is aversion to Krishna. So unless one rectifies this, he will not be able to release himself from sinful activities. So we have to submit to Krishna, and here Srila Sai Maharaj told that this type of sinful mentality is like darkness or fog, but that can be dispelled by sun. So I also now, when I was in Vienna, in association with Srila Bodhayan Maharaj and other devotees, and also spiritual atmosphere of the temple, of deities, everything, that is like a light. I also experienced this before when I was going to India to meet Gurudev. Always by his light, it's like a sun, then you can notice certain things which may be hidden or subconscious like this, but that time they will enlighten, and you can see certain desires within you. They are unfavorable for devotion or obstacles. So by the grace of devotees, means in their association, one can see that acts like a light. And also you get idea, clue, how you should solve this by engaging in the service of Krishna. Also our Gurudev played this pastime when he came to the mat, not yet joined, but he met our Parang Gurudev after leaving house. Then he said to Parang Gurudev, I don't know whether it is proper for me to come to stay in the mud, because it is true that sometimes I'm feeling in this world everything is temporary and there is nothing, so I get some renunciation. So that feeling is there, but at the same time also sometimes enjoying spirit is there. So I don't know whether it is proper for me to renounce house and join monastery, become a monk, celibate monk. Then Parang Gurudev said, in this world, all conditioned souls, they have this weakness of enjoying propensity or sinful propensity, everyone. But Supreme Lord has no such weakness. He is omnipotent, fully Nitya Mukta, Nitya Shuddha, all this is there. So if you take shelter of him, by his grace you can overcome all these drawbacks. Not by your own effort, but by the grace of Supreme Lord. If you take shelter of him, then there is no difficulty. You will have no difficulty. Then Gurudev understood that Parang Gurudev wants him to join the mud. So here also it is said that one who takes shelter of the Lord, the perpetual light, that is eternal light. That verse is Nama Chintamanish Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Abhinatvam Nama Namino. The Supreme Lord is Nitya Mukta, or eternally liberated, Purna Shuddha, fully pure, and the embodiment of all transcendental rasas. That is his eternal position. Impersonalists, they have some strange philosophy that there is that Brahma, Supreme Spirit, and then he gets covered by Maya and becomes Jiva. And when that ignorance is removed by chanting Soham, 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 or some other Tattvamasi like this, then he will become Supreme. But that is not correct Siddhanta. It is not anywhere in Shastra. It is not anywhere in reality. Supreme Lord is always controller of Maya. He can never come under the influence of Maya. We Jivas, who are eternal parts of his potency, we may come under the influence of Maya when we become averse to Krishna. And we can be liberated from Maya only by the grace of Krishna when we surrender to him. Devihi esha gunamai mama maya durate mam eva je prapadyante maya metantarantite. Krishna says in Gita, this Maya no one can conquer. It is my Maya. So it has same power as Krishna, because Krishna is behind. No one can surmount, no one. And only those who will surrender to me, they can be rescued from Maya, no one else. They may think, but they will fall down again, those who don't take shelter of Supreme Lord. So here, perpetual light. By the help of this perpetual light, the one who has, one who takes shelter of the Lord, who is the perpetual light, has no fear of being annihilated in the darkness of fog or ignorance. Our Parang Gurudev gave this assurance. You should have no fear. Everyone has weakness, but if you take shelter of Supreme Lord, He is omnipotent. By His grace you can overcome. So you should have no fear. Also, there was that Srila Bhakti Vichar Jajavar Goswami Maharaj, one disciple of Prabhupada. Prabhupada wanted to give him sannyas, and he was also hesitating, because in his hand it was written that in future he will get married, and it happened to another sannyasi, so he was fearful. And he expressed to Prabhupada, to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, through him. I heard directly on recording. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj told that Prabhupada told him, why is he being afraid? He is going to Supreme Lord, whose lotus feet bestow fearlessness, and that Vaikuntha means fearless place. So if he is going to Supreme Lord, then where is the fear? Why fear? So encouraged him in this way. Then he took sannyas and his karma also changed. In his hand, it was seen. Before that line was there for marriage, fixed, confirmed. But after doing bhajan sincerely, that line also disappeared. It is possible. So in this way we can be released from consequence of our past actions. Then Gurudev said to Parangurudev, okay, but my father has some special affection for me since my birth, and if I will just leave, then he may feel sad, and I will not do my duty to him. I'm indebted to him. He took care of me. So this is there. Then Parangurudev told from Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja, Aham Tvan Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishimi Mashucha. You, Arjuna, you give up all dharmas in this Varna, Ashram, Dharma, all these things. They are based on worldly identification, like Brahmin, Kshatriya, all this you give up all these duties, but you take shelter of me. By serving me, you will not do anything, any sinful activity, or you will not be lacking in performing your duties. No, because if someone serves me, it will be like watering at the root of tree. Whole tree will be nourished properly. So you don't fear, don't worry anything. If you serve me, you will properly perform all your duties to everyone. This is actually the qualification for devotional path. To accept devotional path, first is to have this Shraddha, firm belief. Shraddha Shabda Vishwash Kohe Sutrida Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoye. Shraddha means firm belief without any doubt that by serving Krishna, all one's duties are automatically performed to everyone. This firm belief should be there before one can get initiated into pure devotional line. If this faith is not there, he cannot get bona fide initiation. Some fake gurus, they may give some mantra to get money and other things, but real bona fide guru will not give mantra to someone who does not have such faith, because that would be one kind of offense to Harinam. Ninth offense to Harinam is this: Krishna is not pleased. First you have to awaken faith in them. Then you can give initiation, not just giving mantra and for some other purpose. The gurus also, they will fall down. Such bogus gurus. Bona fide guru does not do this because he is a servant of Krishna. He himself is engaged in the service of Krishna, and he wants to engage others in the service of Krishna, not for any other purpose. Here one question came. When we are going to see Guru and sadhus, what is the best way to meditate to get full benefit of sadhu sangha? Thank you. Srila Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita described. It is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching written down in the words of Rupa Goswami. 4th verse of Upadeshamrita shows how one has to associate with sadhus, pure devotees. Dadati pratigrihnati guhyam aketi prichati bhunkte bojayate chaiva sharavida bhakti. No. Chaiva. Once more. Dadati pratigrihnati guhyam aketi prichati bhunkte bojayate chaiva sharavida priti lakshanam. These 6. In these 6 ways we have to associate with sadhus to get benefit of sadhu sangha. If we come to sadhus with some ulterior purpose, like we come to sadhu, oh sadhu, I want a child, you bless me, then we will not get real grace. They came to give eternal welfare, not mundane things. Or you give me money and solve this difficulty like this. Then we will not get actual benefit. So our attitude should be, our meditation, that they are personal associates of Supreme Lord. They are His servants. They are very dear to Him. So I should have service attitude to them, because they are my object of worship. They are my object of worship. So how one has to associate? It is also Kapil Bhagavan told to Devahuti here in Bhagavatam. By associating with sadhus, one can be liberated from Maya. But how to associate? Here Rupa Goswami told, you have to give to sadhus their requirements. What they require, like cloth or this, what is required for their, this, not, it is, sometimes it is said gift, but gift is not good word, because they may bring many things. But what is required, you have to offer to them. And you have to accept also what they want to give you as present. It is give and take to satisfy them, not take to exploit, but take to accept their mercy. And you have to reveal your heart to them. What is there inside your heart? What kind of doubts you have? What kind of confusions you have? And to how you have to inquire how I can serve Supreme Lord. All these things you have to, without any pretension, sincerely you have to speak from your heart, not pretending or acting, showing something outside. I am a great devotee, and no. Frankly, from the core of heart, we have to reveal our heart, that this is my drawback. I don't know, please help me. When we open our heart to sadhu, then sadhu will also open his heart to us. He will speak to us about bhajan rahasya, the secrets of bhajan, of worship of Supreme Lord, because that is in their heart. They will open to such open heart. So you have to reveal your heart, and you have to hear their heart. What is in their heart, that you have to accept. And bhunkte bojayate chaiva. you have to give them prasad or bhoga so that they can offer to Supreme Lord, and you have to also receive prasad from them to satisfy them. What they are giving, like our Gurudev was playing the pastime of careful diet so that his sugar level will be stable. Gurudev did not have any increased sugar, but he wanted to follow diet so as to not get any. But when Srila Bhakti Kumud Shanta Gosai Maharaj, when he came to visit him for darshan, he wanted to offer him, because it was there, one rasagula. So the secretary of our Gurudev told to Shanta Maharaj, no, he's not taking sweets. Then Gurudev stopped him, no, you remain silent. And Gurudev took that, because it is grace of his Shiksha Guru to satisfy him. Also one time Gurudev was distributing Jagannath Prasad, and one devotee, because of following some healthy diet, used to give something to Gurudev to offer and then give him that thing. But when Gurudev was distributing that direct Jagannath Prasad from Puri, that kaja, then Gurudev said, this is Jagannath Prasad to that devotee. This is Jagannath Prasad. If you accept this, then he will be satisfied because he is giving. And then he also asked, you know what is aparat? Means offense or some displeasing act. And the devotee said yes. Means Gurudev indirectly told, if you will not accept what Jagannath is giving, then he will be displeased. It will be aparat. So in this way we are to accept from Supreme Lord and from devotees to satisfy them. Because they are giving, so to satisfy them we are taking, not exploiting mood. So our Gurudev explained that how we can have sadhu sangha. This is the way how we should associate with sadhus, then we will get spiritual benefit. We'll get inspiration to do bhajan and guidance how to do it. But if we are not close to sadhu, then how we can associate with sadhu? Then Gurudev told, you will see in India there are many bugs, they're sucking blood from the body of sadhu. They are physically very close to him. But what is their thinking? How to suck his blood. What sadhu is thinking? He's thinking how to serve Krishna. So although physically very near, but mind is totally different. Meditation is totally different. They're thinking how to get his blood. His meditation is how I can serve Supreme Lord. So how we can associate with sadhus? Even from a distance. Sadhur chitta vritti anugamon. We have to follow that thought of sadhu, that meditation of sadhu. We have to follow that chitta vritti, his inclination of heart, of atma, to serve Krishna. That inclination we have to follow. Then even if we are physically very far, but if we follow that thought, we will actually be in his association. We will have sadhu sangha. Otherwise, if we suck his blood, then we will get no benefit, actual benefit. Sadhus, they appear in this world only for one purpose, to rescue us from our mistake of aversion to Krishna, for which we have to perpetually suffer here. They want to turn us to the service of Krishna. That is their real compassion. So we should not go to sadhus with the desire of fulfillment of material desires. Our Gurudev told, if we pray for such things to sadhus, then it will be like a wound to their heart. Why? Because they want to rescue us from that. They want to rescue us from that poison, and we are coming to them and are requesting them, you give me poison. So they are not happy seeing this, but they are very happy when they see that someone is interested to serve Krishna. Then they will help us always. And sadhu is always available, anywhere. Like Krishna is everywhere, omnipresent. His absolute counterpart, grace incarnate form of Supreme Lord, Guru or pure devotee, they're also everywhere. One who wants, he can get anywhere. Dhruva was in forest when Narad came there. Why? Because he was sincere for worshipping Supreme Lord. So one who will sincerely pray or sincerely desire, then Krishna will provide him with his own person. That person who will be grace incarnate of him, grace personified, and by the grace of that Guru, he will get procedure how he can attain Supreme Lord's eternal service. Anything more? Our Gurudev told, even for praying the grace of Vaishnavas, we need their grace. Because we don't know what to pray for. So Vaishnavas, they first reveal to us what we are to desire. Then we have to pray for that thing. One time in Delhi, not in the mat, in one house, Gurudev was staying. At that time, then he looked at me and he said, you should desire only causeless devotion to Supreme Lord. That is Gurudev's compassion to say like this. Because he knows that is the only thing which is beneficial for the jivas. All other desires will frustrate them. Kadachi dhyayataha srashtur veda asamschatur mukhat katham srakshyamyaham lokan samavetan yatha pura. Once upon a time, when Brahma was thinking of how to create the worlds as in the past millennium, the four Vedas, which contain all varieties of knowledge, became manifested from his four mouths. Four Vedas. I now remembered when Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur visited Assam, and some preaching was going on. Then, when he came next time, and they will open new center there and install deities, so that was announced. So our Parangurudev came there some days ahead to see if all the preparations were made, but he came there and saw that nothing was made. So without complaining anything, he immediately started to work for all arrangements, for accommodation, for articles, for the puja, for everything. So everything he could manage in the short time before Prabhupada will come, but he could not collect like for prasad, rice, dal, and these things. So, but then he saw in that storehouse, already heaps of rice were there, and ghee, mustard oil, salt, spices, dal, vegetables, everything there. And he was surprised how, from where this came. Then he saw that here in Assam, people are very simple-hearted and they have faith in sadhus. So they're very poor. Some of them are very poor, and living very far. But when they heard that one great sadhu is coming from Mayapur, they went there to get his darshan, and they were carrying with them rice, dal, everything to present to sadhu. This is also we have to come to sadhu with service attitude. So they brought so much rice and everything, and there was big feast and they made. Then Prabhupada, when that festival was over, then Prabhupada ordered our Parangurudev, that time he was brahmachari, that here people in Assam, they are very good people. They have faith in sadhus. They're very simple-hearted and they have faith in sadhus, so you should preach over here. This order gave him, that is why, and that was in just some few months before Prabhupada disappeared. Then Parangurudev, after the disappearance of Prabhupada, he was preaching. He's preaching in Assam, in all areas in Assam, walking or sometimes on bullock cart from one village to another to awaken them to Krishna consciousness, to engage them in the service of Krishna. That is why his first disciples are all from Assam, like our Gurudev also. So we have to go to sadhus with service attitude because they are dearest to Supreme Lord. That should be our meditation. We should not go to sadhus to exploit them, to suck their blood, but to serve them as devotees of Krishna and to get their mercy, that inspiration to serve Krishna, that is their mercy and guidance how we can do. That should be our target. Otherwise we will deprive ourselves. We will be the loser if we go for some other purposes. So here, from 4 heads of Brahma, 4 Vedas manifested. It does not mean that he created, no. 4 Vedas, they are eternally existing. Actually, it was only one Veda. And so much knowledge there, but Vyas, and here also Brahma, he divided into 4 parts. That is eternal. Chatur Hotram Karma Tantram Upaveda Nayai Saha Dharmasya Padas Chatura Tatai Vritaya. The 4 kinds of paraphernalia for conducting the fire sacrifice became manifest. The performer means the chanter of mantra, the offerer, the fire, and the action performed in terms of the supplementary Vedas. Also the 4 principles of religiosity, truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, and the duties of the 4 social orders all became manifest. If you read that Upanishads and also in Vedanta Sutra, then there it is written about these different kinds of priests and what are their duties, how they will do, and if someone does some mistake, how another can correct that mistake. In Chandogya Upanishad, you will find in details that Brahma and Udgata, and they have names, For sacrifice, also Brihataranika, how everyone has to do their part in the yagya, sacrifice. So that is given in 4 Vedas, and this about truthfulness, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, and the duties of the 4 social orders all became manifest. Means Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmin. These are Varnas. And ashramas are Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So according to one's conditioning, in which guna one is, he will be in certain varna. And what is his stage of life? He will be in certain ashram. And if he follows the duties of his varna and ashram according to scripture, that is the first step in spiritual progress. Not whimsically doing, but according to Supreme Lord's order in the Shastra. That is not yet pure devotion, but it is a starting point to be regulated by Supreme Lord for his service, and then gradually one can improve in his purity of service to Krishna. Ultimately pure devotion will come. But if someone, by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, meets pure devotee and can appreciate him, then he can immediately start pure devotional practice of hearing and chanting about Krishna and serving him in his deity form and others. By the grace of that pure devotee, that devotion will be awakened in him. It is the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bring to this world SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, to distribute everywhere, and to distribute sadhu sangha everywhere. Sadhus. So by accepting Bhagavatam and by accepting sadhu, that we are actually accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are accepting his grace. This is his gift for us, because he is most merciful. So he is giving us a chance to immediately start hearing and chanting about Krishna through this book Bhagavat and Bhakta Bhagavat, pure devotee. We can start. Vidur Uvach Savai Vishwa Srijamisho Veda Din Mukhato Srijat Yat Yat Yena Srijat Devas Tanme Bruhitapo Dhon. Vidur said, O great sage, whose only wealth is penance, kindly explain to me how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic knowledge which emanated from his mouth. This is a very important point. Whose only wealth is penance and spiritual practice. That is the actual wealth. What is the use of so much worldly wealth and position and all this? That will not make you happy. It will always create anxiety and suffering and all this. We want to get more and more money because we think that will make us happy, but it cannot. But someone may be poor, like Sridhar Pandit, but he's always happy. Why? Because he has that wealth of penance, of spiritual practice. Mahaprabhu told him, why you are so poor? You are worshipping Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan. Why you are so poor? Others, demigod worshippers, they are getting so much money. Then Sridhar said, the amount of happiness that one gets if he is a king in a comfortable palace, or one bird who is going from one tree to another in search of some food, that sense gratification of eating and sleeping is the same. Amount of pleasure they get is the same. So what is the use? Then Mahaprabhu was very happy. He said, I know what kind of wealth you have. I know. And I will show to the whole world. At appropriate time, I will make whole world understand that you are actually the richest person, because you have that transcendental devotion to Krishna. Later on, Mahaprabhu revealed to everyone. He offered him, you take everything. He said, no, I don't require anything. I want only your service. So this is actual wealth. Bhajan. But a wealth of bhajan. Maitreya Uvach. Rik Yajuh Samatharvakyan Vedan Purvadibir Mukhay Shastram Ijjam Stuti Stomam Prayashchitam Vyadhat Kramat. I heard now recently that those who have wealth, they can afford that Hamilton hotel, 5 stars or more. They want to enjoy, but they cannot be happy. Even if they enjoy, they cannot be happy. Only the devotee of Krishna, sincere devotee, he will get that transcendental fulfillment inside his heart when engaged in the service of Krishna in association with devotees, and he will see that all other desires are actually cause of suffering, and they are obstacles to devotion. So carefully he will give them up by engaging in the service of Krishna for his satisfaction. Then he can be really happy, and not for some time, for all time. Maitreya said, beginning from the front face of Brahma, gradually the 4 Vedas, Rik, Yajur, Sama and Atharva, became manifest. Thereafter, Vedic hymns, which had not been pronounced before, priestly rituals, the subject matters of the recitation, and transcendental activities were all established, one after another. This is all Vedic knowledge. Rituals and then Upanishads and all this. But ultimate purpose of Veda is to know Krishna, to get his eternal servant. Krishna is himself says in Gita, by all the Vedas I am to be known. I am the compiler of the Vedas and Vedanta and everything, and I am to be known. I know the meaning. So ultimate purpose of all Veda is to take you to pure devotion to Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj said to Hiranyakashipu, yes, they have some knowledge of Vedas, these Sandhya and Tamarka, but they don't understand what is the actual purpose of the Veda. It's devotion, Vishnu Bhakti. They did not give me this. My Gurudev Narad Goswami, he gave me this. Only this one verse on that next page. Ayurvedam, Dhanurvedam, Gandharvam Vedam, Atmana, Stapatyam, Chasrijadvedam, Kramat, Purvadibir, Mukhay. He also created the medical science, that is Ayurveda, that is also part of the Veda. Military art, Dhanurveda, musical art and architectural science, all from the Vedas. That is Vastu Shastra. They all emanated one after another, beginning from the front face. You will find in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation, Vedas, they give all knowledge, material knowledge and also transcendental spiritual knowledge, but this material knowledge is to assist that spiritual process. That is why it is also given, to give assistance, because we are living in this world So to use this for livelihood and all this what is necessary here, so that we can engage ourselves in the service of Krishna. Tomorrow we will hear further. Yes.